Hey folks, it's Lev. Welcome back to another video. Yes, I'm wearing camo. I like camo. This is one of my favorite shirts. Just camo. I have camo pants. I just like wear full on camo outfits and I don't regret anything. Um, Today's video, I wanted to talk about, I forgot my intro. For those of you who are new, I use he and pronouns. In today's video, I wanted to talk about how I knew I am trans and also answer the question of, do you need to have gender dysphoria to be trans? I want to share my thoughts on that as well. I think I've explained a little bit of this in my previous videos, but when I was younger, I experienced really bad chest dysphoria. I wouldn't say like 5, 6 years old or something. Like the start of puberty and the teenage years, 12, 13, I remember I had really bad chest dysphoria. But at the time, I didn't know what chest dysphoria was. I didn't know what dysphoria is. I didn't know about being trans. I didn't even know about the LGBT community besides hearing the word gay being thrown around. But yeah, that's the extent to my knowledge at that age in my life. Didn't know the LGBT community existed, heard the word gay before, but that's about it. Everything else is just exposure to hit cishet stuff, nothing else. I had really bad chest dysphoria. I didn't know what it was called, but I just knew that, looking at it and like having it and just it existing just made me feel very disconnected from my own body. And I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like what I saw. And the dysphoria was really on and off for me throughout my teenage years and young adulthood. I'm currently 23, so it's been sort of a long journey, but when I was younger, I didn't really dive into this stuff and try to understand myself. It was only like when I like second year uni, when I was like 19 or 20 or 21, I don't even know. Um that I started like exploring my identity more and trying to learn more about myself. The period where dysphoria was sort of stable in a way, it wasn't really bothering me. Those were what I considered the good times, as in I could actually function relatively okay, and it was not like overwhelming, haunting me 24/7. But then there were also periods where, like a few weeks or like a month, it was just very severe. I hated myself. I hated looking in the mirror, and everything just felt like this isn't me. This isn't right. It just my mind was just telling me you can't keep doing this, but I kept ignoring it because I was scared. It was like after my teenage years, when I was going into young adulthood, after I turned 18, 19, that's when the dysphoria started getting worse and worse. um and that's when I started suppressing it more, or suppressing it consciously again, because I was scared. And there was a possibility of me being trans that crossed my mind, but I was scared of it. And then that's why I kept running from it and denying my truth, because I didn't want to deal with it. And my whole life I've heard like, I saw like being trans as abnormal because of like the cishet world. Like I saw cishet people everywhere, but I didn't know any trans people. I didn't see any trans people, and I thought like I was literally the like odd one out. Basically, that's why I was scared of the thought of being trans. I'm like, I can't. I can't be trans. I can't be trans. I said that to myself a lot. I can't be trans. There's no way you're trans. But here I am now, living as a trans man on HRT for over 3 months. Wow, the tables have turned, hey. Back to the question of how did I know I was trans? The best answer I can give is that I kept fighting with myself. Basically, my subconscious mind or unconscious mind kept trying to communicate the message to me like, hey, you're not cis, you can't keep living your life this way, this is not you. And the more I ran from it, avoided it, denied it, the stronger it came back. And what I realized is that I cannot run from my truth. I cannot run from who I am. No matter how much I try to deny it, run away from it, do all of these psychological defense mechanism things, it's always gonna come back because it's me. I can't run from myself. I'm with myself 24/7. There is no chance I can run from myself and it not catch up to me. It will eventually catch up to me. And it has. I tried running, it caught up to me. And I ran away a little bit again and then it caught up to me again. I cannot run from it. And the main message this was communicated through was dysphoria, gender dysphoria, being living as a woman, being called by she, her pronouns, not getting a short haircut because having long hair made me feel dysphoric, but then I kept it anyway. Um, not not using. I didn't change my name back then actually, so that wasn't a factor. The name wasn't a factor back then. Using women's restrooms, both. I had dysphoria both in like the social context, like social dysphoria, and then there was also like body physical dysphoria as well. And this conflict in my mind trying to tell me, hey, you're trans, and the fact that I kept running from it, it also manifested in other ways, such as I was very moody. I got irritated a lot. Like I experienced a lot of so-called negative or emotions, or the challenging emotions that came up a lot. And I was just annoyed all the time, irritated, didn't feel like myself. And now I realized that I felt this way because I was in conflict with myself and my mind had no other way to like try to tell me, but then it just manifested in these difficult emotions, physical symptoms like really bad headaches. I got chest pain, nausea, worse abdo pain. All of these things were like signs like, hey, Liv, open your eyes. This is not you. You can't keep living like this. And you can't keep running like this. But I didn't listen to my inner voice. My inner voice was right the whole time. It knew like what was best for me, and like what is me, what is Lev, who is Lev. It knew who Lev is. But consciously I kept running from it again. It's all about the running, the avoiding, the denying, out of fear, because I didn't know what this was. And I'm like, wait, who am I? Like I didn't know who I am, and it scared me. And I knew I'm trans because ever since I came out, I accepted my truth, that I am a trans man and I'm not a cisgender woman. Came out, accepted my truth, started living as a man, socially transitioning to live as a man, like legally as well. And I'm on HRT and everything. The dysphoria is not like gone 100%. However, I feel more like myself. I stopped fighting with myself. Who I am living as is consistent with my internal voice telling me, hey, this is you. Like, you are a trans man. This is you. You are now aligned with me and not fighting with me anymore. And that's how I knew I'm trans, because I'm a lot happier as well. I'm a lot happier. My physical health is better as well. My physical health is better. My mental health is better. I do have downfalls and stuff. Not saying that just because I started living as a man, I never experienced any sadness or like difficult times. No, it's just a lot better. My life, the quality of my life is a lot better ever since I started living my truth rather than run from it and fight with it and try to deny it. I guess a summary of this section would be, if you continuously fight with yourself, you feel disconnected from your body, because in your mind you know that you are X gender, but you are assigned Y gender at birth, or assigned sex at birth. Um, it's your assigned sex at birth is not congruent or aligned with who you know you are because of dysphoria. In could be social dysphoria, could be physical dysphoria, or you just feel not yourself. You know, like you feel like this is not me. This isn't, this body that I'm in isn't me. Or like you, the thought of, oh, I might be trans cross your mind, and then you keep trying to run from it, deny it because of fear and whatnot, and it keeps coming back to you. Like you try to suppress it, the thoughts, and then it comes back to you, and you try to suppress it again. It keeps coming back to you, and it might come back even stronger each time you try to suppress it. That's as for me, that's a very strong indication that you are likely trans or gender diverse, or that who you are is not aligned with the sex or gender you are assigned at birth. That's the biggest thing. And also, uh, it can manifest like this internal conflict, this conflict in your internal world regarding who you are living as and who you really are, or who you truly are. Um, it's it manifests in different ways, like mood swings, or you might experience physical issues that phys- physical health symptoms that have no underlying biological basis. Like for my headache, I actually went to get like a CT scan because it got really bad, and they're like, it's all negative. There's physically nothing wrong with you. And then that to me says there's just psychological, emotional, spiritual troubles going on because there is nothing wrong with me physically. And these symptoms are a manifestation of this psychological distress, baggage, trauma. That's something, yeah. So it's not, the conflict isn't always like, it doesn't always manifest in a psychological way per se, as through thoughts. It can be different emotions, physical health symptoms, or you just feeling like you're not yourself, or that like you feel like you have no soul. I don't know. It can manifest in a lot of different ways. It's not just one obvious thing. um so think about that as well. Consider your life as a web of domains, different factors. How do they all link in together? Because for me, my mental, physical, and spiritual health is definitely very strongly interlinked, and the cause of one thing may not be so obvious because there's like a lot of underlying things actually leading to the manifestation of this particular experience, thought, feeling, physical symptom, whatnot. Now for the second part, which is, do you need to experience gender dysphoria to be trans? And I'm answering this question based on my experiences and my understanding of the trans experience. Basically, this is from my perspective, and I'm very open to like having a discussion about this and learning and hearing other people's point of views, experiences, and thoughts as well. We can have healthy conversations about this. Like, just because you may not agree with me, it doesn't mean we can't have a healthy conversation about this. We don't need to like attack each other. We can just be human, have a conversation, and learn and grow together. That's what I really want. I don't, like, in general, I don't want people to like, I don't want to argue with people, because everyone grows up with like different lived experiences and different understandings of the world based on the people around them, the culture, and there's so many factors. So I'm really open to learning. And so if anyone actually, I don't know, may not agree or want to have a conversation about this, I'm more than happy to. So to answering the question, I do think that you need to experience gender dysphoria to be trans or gender diverse, because it doesn't have, I'm not saying it has to be like you have to experience severe dysphoria of every kind, every part of your body you have to feel dysphoric about, every part of your social life you have to feel dysphoric about. No, it's like you have to, for me at least, like you have to experience some form of gender dysphoria, some form of it, whether it be like social, physical, biological, some form of gender dysphoria to some sort of degree. Because my understanding is if you're cisgender and your gender identity aligns with your assigned sex at birth, your mind wouldn't be fighting with itself. over who you are, because who you are is aligned with the what you are assigned at birth. I'm also not saying that you have to resonate with every trans person or trans or gender diverse person's experiences, and if you don't, you're not trans. That's what I'm saying. Like, everyone's lived experience is different. Just because you may be experiencing dysphoria, one aspect of dysphoria, and another trans person doesn't, it doesn't mean that you are less valid as trans or you're not trans. Again, everyone's lived experience is different, and not all trans experiences are the same, and that's okay. Yes, you have to. Again, yes, I think you have to experience gender dysphoria to be trans. Some form of it, to some degree, again. So a few examples of social dysphoria would be someone using pronouns that don't sit right with you. Um, you just feel disconnected with it, and you just like is inside when you hear someone refer to you that by that pronoun, because that's not you. That's one example of social dysphoria. Or someone seeing you as a particular gender that you are not, and they treat you as someone of that gender which you are not. That's another example of social dysphoria, and another indication that you may be trans. The way people treat you by seeing you for a gender that you may not be, that's another thing. Physical or biological dysphoria. You see certain parts of your body and you're like, this is not me. For example, for me, I have really bad chest dysphoria. Every time I look at it, I'm like, this is not me. Ew, it's not me. I don't want this. This is not meant to be part of Lev in the body he's in. I mean, the body that is his, really. This is not supposed to be a part of it. In conclusion, you have to experience like some sort of conflict between your gender identity and the sex or gender that you are assigned at birth. Because for cis people, these things don't really cross their mind, because everything works out for them. The body that they were born in is who they are. So to, I guess, be trans and gender diverse, there has to be some sort of conflict to some degree. Or you see yourself as, this is not me. This is not me at all. This is not my body. Like, this is not the body I was meant to be born in, sort of thing. That's all, folks. I'll see you in the next video, which I'll be filming right after this one. So I'm going to do another filming 2 videos and posting 2 videos at the same time thing again.